I invested my entire life savings into purchasing my first fast casual restaurant franchise 7 years ago, eventually scaling up to 3 top-performing locations in the metropolitan area. My restaurants consistently ranked in the top 5% nationwide for cleanliness, service speed, and profitability. Harrison, the newly appointed regional franchise director, was a corporate bureaucrat who wanted to clear out independent owner-operators to install his own family members and shell companies as preferred vendors, allowing him to collect massive kickbacks on equipment and supply chains. He had been quietly pressuring me to sell my profitable locations back to corporate at a steep 70% discount, a demand I flatly refused every time. When I took a 1-week vacation out of the country with my family, Harrison saw his opening to execute a hostile corporate takeover. He ordered a rogue compliance inspector to access our franchise network portal and manually alter our daily food temperature logs and customer safety metrics, generating 3 completely fabricated critical failure reports. When I confronted Harrison in the restaurant lobby on Monday morning, he believed he had executed a flawless corporate maneuver. He showed me the altered digital reports, stated that corporate policy was non-negotiable, and told me that my 7 years of hard work were legally void. He smiled as his son-in-law walked into my office to take over my desk, telling me that a simple restaurant owner stood zero chance against a multi-billion-dollar corporate legal department. He gave me 15 minutes to pack my personal belongings and leave the premises. Harrison assumed I would panic, hire a standard local business lawyer, and spend years drowning in bankrupting litigation while his son-in-law pocketed the profits from my locations. He completely failed to understand that when you spend 10 years designing the very database systems corporations rely on, you don't just defend your business, you control the source code. I walked out to my car, booted up my secure laptop, tethered it to my mobile network and accessed the raw server log files through an independent hard-coded diagnostic port I had legally maintained for network maintenance. When a corrupt executive tries to steal your livelihood, you do not look for a legal compromise, you execute a complete forensic audit of their entire digital infrastructure. I initiated a deep dive comparison between the public compliance reports Harrison used to terminate my contract and the hidden, unalterable server event database logs. Because our restaurant's local computer networks automatically timestamp and record the unique hardware MAC address of any terminal making a data entry, the truth was instantly visible. The 3 critical inspection failures had never been uploaded by a field inspector at my restaurant locations. The server event trail proved that all 3 reports were uploaded at midnight on a Tuesday from a single computer terminal located inside Harrison's personal home office. He had directly forged the digital signatures of the field compliance officers and manually overwritten our perfect operational records. But my forensic analysis uncovered an even more devastating corporate crime. While tracking Harrison's user profile history across the regional database, I discovered a hidden network protocol he had established to alter the supply chain invoicing metrics for over 50 franchise locations in his territory. For 3 straight years, Harrison had been inflating the automated wholesale cost of food supplies by 4%, routing the excess millions into a shell company registry based in Panama. He wasn't just trying to steal my restaurants, he had been systematically embezzling money from the parent corporation itself. I compiled the unassailable network event logs, the matching home IP address tracking records, the forged signature metadata, and the complete Panama invoicing scheme into an ironclad corporate compliance dossier. I bypassed the regional office completely and delivered this data packet directly to the parent corporation's global chief executive officer, the head of International Internal Audit, and the Federal Wire Fraud Task Force. The corporate and federal counterstrike was absolute, instantaneous destruction. On Wednesday afternoon, Harrison was hosting a regional strategy conference at a luxury corporate headquarters building, preparing to announce the expansion of his family vendor network. Before the meeting could begin, the global CEO, accompanied by 3 federal fraud investigators and corporate security officers, entered the boardroom. They served Harrison with an immediate company-wide suspension notice and an emergency asset freeze order issued by a federal judge. Harrison's executive access credentials were wiped from the international network within 60 seconds, and security officers escorted him out of the building in handcuffs. When Harrison's legal team tried to claim the server logs were circumstantial, the federal prosecutors presented the digital signature metadata showing the exact timestamps matching his personal home network usage. The parent corporation, desperate to avoid a massive shareholder crisis over the embezzled supply chain funds, completely apologized to me in writing within 48 hours. The legal fallout completely obliterated Harrison's life and family network. The global corporate board officially reinstated my 3 franchise licenses with a full 10-year fee waiver to compensate for the disruption. Furthermore, the parent corporation awarded me the exclusive operating rights to 4 additional premium locations in the city that were seized from Harrison's shell companies, effectively doubling my restaurant empire overnight. Harrison's son-in-law was immediately terminated and sued by corporate for unjust enrichment and conspiracy. Harrison is currently serving a significant federal sentence for wire fraud, identity theft, and corporate embezzlement, while his personal real estate assets were fully liquidated to pay back the millions he stole from the franchise network. Harrison wanted to use a rigged corporate rule to steal my business, and he ended up losing his career, his wealth, and his freedom.